Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Occults Receivable. I'm Anthony, here with Theresa,
Hello.
as always, and we are going to get right back into Raging Loop. And shit, last time we stopped, we were about to
We
we were
just got
talking about,
rooms for the reporters.
yeah, the reporter, the journalist, and the photographer, and they hit us with a choice about switching rooms with the photographer, the big dude.
Our big
Um,
boy, yes.
and we were locked out of one of the choices, which means he's probably going to die this loop.
Yes,
Um,
and we also learned that he has a daughter.
yes, this guy. Oh yeah, he has a
興味深いわね。
daughter, which is
思いっ
which
きり
makes
Yeah.
this
浸透
extra
的な発
sad.
想だけど、
Here we got all this. There we go. Hashimoto, right? We're gonna agree with it.
That's all we can do this
That's all we can
time.
do.
わかりました。
Okay.
余計なことをすみません。
いや、こちらこそありがとう。いろいろ動いて
Yeah,
く
we
れたん
we
で
had
し
to,
ょ
we spent the entire so we died like 4 times last session, and then we spent the rest of the time like scrambling to pretend like we don't know who these people are,
Hmm.
while getting them accommodations, and being accosted by a feral old woman.
My God, fucking Tai-san,
E-
my
every
favorite
time,
character.
every time we had like any type of a conversation with Rikako, she just exploded out of the scenery and started shrieking at us, and it was the
Yes,
best part of this game so far.
it's
え
been very good, yes.
野里さんだっけ。気を回しそうな方には見えなかったから。きっと、君が取りなしてくれたんだろ
いやいや、そんなことないですよ。
う。この子は結構、無理しがちだからね。僕が至らない分、
I love this guy. He's a big,
助かるよ。
big teddy bear.
He's a big teddy bear.
もうたかが一回り上なくらいで父親みたいにならない
Only
で
a
くださいよ。
12 years older is still 12 years older.
Yeah.
There was something about him that bothered me.
What? Why? He's a
too
cinnamon
nice.
roll.
Anyway, with that done, I figured I'd spend my remaining time trying to rub elbows with the rest of Yasumizu. Though I already had a job here, I had to make up for not helping out at the dining hall before noon. But
That's right.
oh
You
yeah,
made Takumi very angry.
I'm on Takumi's shit list.
Mm-hmm.
とりあえずお仕事の前に
Oh,
腹ごしらえをしてもらいましょう。
No, don't eat. Oh wait, we already ate. We already ate up at the in Kamifujiyoshi.
Mm-hmm.
Kaori-san gave me a bowl. For some reason, her smile seemed a bit warped. It probably wasn't on purpose, though. It was just the effect of the smell. No, the miasma coming from the food she gave me. It was just that powerful.
何か
Are
怒っ
you
てます
trying to poison me?
いいえ、どうして？
Flashback to Psycho Killer. I couldn't feel any
She's
anger.
fine. Both her children are alive.
For now. I couldn't feel any anger in her voice or expression, but being new here, I couldn't understand the mentality of someone trying to present something like this as food. As I twitched in fear that this was punishment for slacking off, Kaori-san suddenly gave me a full smile.
この匂いね。獅子慣れというの。獅子を保存するための昔からの知恵。
Okay, alright. Hey, remember when I said last time that Shishinare was people?
Yes.
I would like to amend that statement. Shishinari are Yomibito. Corrupt people.
So a different flavor of people.
Yeah,
Yes.
they are marinated in darkness, yes.
Yep.
Okay.
なるほど。
Oh, excuse me. So this was the infamous dish made of fermented game meat. Yeah, no, okay, see, fermented. Fermented is what's kind of giving it away here.
Mm-hmm.
Like these are not like these are corpses. These are Yomibito.
Yep.
The nare part of the name had to refer to long fermentation, just like in narezushi for fermented sushi. I had no clue how they gave it such a strong smell, though. Did they reuse the same marinade for decades? Like with the salt they used for sun-dried mackerel?
大昔はそのまま食べてたみたいだけど、さすがに危なかったのかしら。今はこうして煮込んだり、鍋や汁
Are
の
we in
具
a
にし
village
てい
of
るの。
zombies?
I mean, I think that was the implication from the first loop we played through.
Yeah, I mean, Chiemi did, like, rot and fall apart.
Yep.
本来安水のお祝い料理なんですよ。記者さんたちにお出しした分のお裾分け、それと私から歓迎の印。
Okay, I had to steel myself. I actually had a soft spot for strange delicacies. Since
Oh,
when?
convenient.
Okay, alright. So I know we give Haruaki a lot of shit, which is rightly deserved.
Yes,
Here's
he
my
deserves
problem.
it. Okay.
Every now and then, he keeps popping up with these weird idiosyncrasies, like these random eccentricities that are like, yeah, I've had a soft spot for strange delicacies, or yeah, I'm cool around corpses. Like, he's obviously what the situation calls for, but at the same time, he's just not believably written. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I know he's supposed to be an XP for the player, yada yada yada. He's just, there's nothing about him that's believable. Right down to falling for Chiemi after knowing for her for 20 minutes.
Yes. Okay, but I feel like that is at least a little bit believable because I don't think he was like falling for Chiemi. Like, we both know he just, wanted to have sex with her because apparently that's all 24-year-old men think about.
I mean, apparently.
They see a woman immediately, all they want is sex. They don't want, friendship or companionship or like, any sort of intellectual stimulation. Only physical.
Right. So it's just like, I don't know, man. Like, it's just, he keeps whipping out these weird traits that there's no connection,
Yeah. Well, I think the thing is too, like, it makes sense that there's no connection because we know as much about Haruaki as we know basically about the rest of the characters in this game, which is to say not a whole fucking lot.
Okay.
We know a little bit more about Haruaki just by virtue of playing as him, so we're like in his head when this stuff goes down, but we still don't know what he went to school for. We have a suspicion he went to some kind of coroner school, but that hasn't
God damn it.
What?
God damn it. No. Okay. But my counter argument to this is that, like, we're piloting this guy. We are privy to his internal monologue, right?
Yep.
That still should lend some sort of, there should be some consistency in his character. So, a perfect example of, having the internal dialogue accessible to the player is the Ace Attorney series. Phoenix Wright, Apollo Justice, whoever you're playing as, you get their internal snide remarks, but they all build logically on a character that is cohesive. Haruaki is all over the map.
Okay, yeah.
And I
can't argue with that.
That's where I'm having a problem. Is we have all this ambiguity of what his where he went, what graduate school he went to or whatever, and that he broke up with it. He had a bad breakup with his girlfriend. Like, that's all we've got to go on. So a lot of this internal dialogue should be building that character for us alongside his actions.
Right.
And like I said, they're so contradictory and all over the map. And it's just, he's got these such weird things. Like, he has no problems like complaining and being like a complete jackass to, like, say the Konbini worker. But in this instance, he's all of a sudden I actually have a soft spot for strange delicacies. Like, that doesn't match up. Like, to me, he seems like the character who would be bitching in his mind constantly about this, but, like, in order to save face, like, he would eat it, That seems more consistent to his character.
Yeah. Or, I mean, even, like, if they wanted to make this soft spot for strange delicacies more convincing, because this is literally out of left field. This is not the first time the Nareshishi has been mentioned.
Yes.
Like, I'm pretty sure this shit was mentioned in the first loop, and he expressed zero interest in it at that
exactly.
point.
And even when Chiemi was, like, trying to get him to not eat the food, there at no point did he be like, yeah, but I'm kind of interested in this stuff. Can you at least tell? Like, he's shown no interest in it up until this point.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why, like, some of these, like, weird internal dialogue things just take me out of left field. And it's like, Haruaki, who are you? What type of a person are you? Because you are everywhere all at once.
Yep.
So, I tried sun-dried mackerel and any other weird foods I could get my hands on. See, this doesn't make sense in the context of the last loop.
Yeah.
No way could I refuse this, except, see, again, now this is the other thing, is like, he already has his memories from his previous loops, all of them. Like, they're not, some of them are a little hazy, but they're pretty concrete. At least in the last, like, couple of hours, he's been able to, like, concretely figure out what happened in the last loop, like, he recall it.
Right.
So, why is he saying, no way could I refuse this, when he knows that Chiemi was preventing him from eating, called her out on it, and then that thought has just evaporated, you know?
Right, yeah.
Oh wait, maybe I'm about to fucking eat my words. The strange delicacy.
That's fine.
Would eating this turn me into a zombie or something? No. I would prove that idea wrong.
Okay, good.
I picked up the bowl and the chopsticks. Brown rice covered in a ton of crumbled bits of meat. The soup stock seemed as light as what they use in Kamifujiyoshi, but I didn't know what to think of the meat's color. What was up with this greasy, shiny green surface? Whoa!
Ugh.
Green?
Greasy?
Greasy, shiny green surface?
Mm.
The reek attacked my nose once again. Damn it, I couldn't back out now. Gathering my resolve, I quickly put some stock, rice, and meat into my mouth. And then died.
Ellipses.
Was it good? I really couldn't tell. I had absolutely no idea what I was eating here. The texture, the sensation on the tongue, everything was new to me. The taste was extremely acidic, salty, and rich in animal protein. But that weird smell smothered most of it, forcing me to continuously convince myself that I was eating something good. I felt like my body would reject it all if I didn't. Holding the aversion at bay, I somehow swallowed it. The aftertaste was better than I expected, but as the reek faded, it made way for a strong, beastly smell. Yeah, in a way, this taste was an exciting form of entertainment by itself.
His face!
Yeah, that's kind of the face that I'm making, like, ha 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 ha.
It was a pretty weird, contradictory sort of description, wasn't it?
It sure was.
Like, if something smells that pungently, it is going to have a pungent taste, and yet he couldn't tell what he was eating despite the smell. Like, that's bizarre.
わかるわ。私も休みずに来て、最初はどうかと思ったけど、今は時々無性に食べたくなるの。
Sometimes even craves it, yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't lying. It really did seem like a taste I could get used to. It was hard to honestly call it good, but at least it did feel nutritious. Okay. As reciting a prayer, I repeatedly tried to convince myself of that as I emptied the bowl I was given. Oof. Big oof.
ごちそうさまでした。
Yikes forever.
Well, you're stuck here now.
Yep. Welcome to hell. So I'd finally eaten something from Yasumizu. Did that mean I was a true local now? Or Yomi Bito? Whatever. As long as I could go back to square one, I would explore all the options I had available. Rhythmic cutting sounds were reaching my ears. As Kaori-san began preparing food in the kitchen, I did the work assigned to me. I had to repair the numerous cracked and broken dishes they had here. Apparently, they couldn't afford anything new, so they opted to take what was thrown out in Kamifujiyoshi and repair it into something usable. Yeah, okay. They're eating the dead from Kamifujiyoshi. Because the kind of the running theme here is that anything that is unwanted keeps getting sent down here, and I imagine that would involve, like, corpses.
Well, I'm with you on, like, everything that's unwanted is sent down here, but I feel like sending corpses down to be consumed is a step too far. Because, like...
Oh, okay.
Just because this place, Yasumizu, is a place for the ostracized, And if somebody up in Kamifuji died in good standing, why would they send them down to the ostracized? That wouldn't
So,
make any sense.
so maybe, I mean, one, maybe it's not someone who's dying in good standing, and two, there's definitely something really messed up going on in Fujiyoshi anyway, because
Right.
what's his face from the One Head family is running the eatery, you know, like all the eateries
Hmm.
there, and everyone is communally eating something weird.
Yeah.
Um, the thing that the one thing that's tripping me up is what purpose does Yasumizu serve in all of this? And I'm
Hmm.
wondering if it's just sort of a religious thing, considering Lord Shinai and the mountain and all that other stuff. Like if this is some sort of um, cult thing, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's because I mean that's okay. So the other thing is Kaori-san's husband. The time frame I believe that they've set up is that her husband died and she and the kids were sent down here.
Yes.
So it's probably that I'm gonna say her husband was murdered by the main family because he probably was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like we want out.
It was either that or I do remember because she married into the family from outside.
Uh huh.
Like she was outsider. Like she had nothing to do with Yasumizu or Kami Fujiyoshi before she married
Right.
this man.
Right.
So they may even have just had him killed because they didn't like who he chose to marry.
Right. Yeah. I
Although
mean,
on the other hand, it seems weird that they would wait until he had reproduced a couple times before killing her or
yeah.
killing him. But
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I'm willing to bet either he found out something and then decided he wanted no part of it and was gonna like blow the lid on the whole thing,
Hmm.
or maybe he just had a heel face turn and his conscience got the better of him. He's like, no, I can't do this anymore.
Sure.
He was killed and they sent his wife and kids down.
Hmm. Okay.
So, was there no end to how pitiful things were here? The broken plates and cups were all wrapped in old newspaper, and all I had to do was unwrap them and put them back together. It was actually kind of fun, sort of like a jigsaw puzzle, but man, there were a lot of them. I'd have to do this for entire boxes full of broken tableware. What do you have to do? There's nothing to do.
Okay, and you just said it was kind of fun.
Yeah, I did wonder whether they actually needed so much, but apparently they just barely had enough, so they wanted to have some spares. I used some all-purpose glue from a 100 yen shop. They'd bought it from a nearby town. County-san laughed about it, saying, "We get far more value out of this than a 100 yen bowl," and I just about cried. It was a strange mix of modern frugality and the poverty of ancient times, and it exemplified just how weird Yasumizu really was. As I
Yeah.
worked, yep, there. As I worked, I realized that many of the plates and cups had a familiar symbol
こ
on
れ
them.
はどういうマークなんです？
I asked Kaori-san over the counter.
それは水場のお家の紋よ。
So that's the
Higuchi.
monkey, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's the monkey. The
Yeah,
Higuchi.
Higuchi was the monkey.
I was about to mention the name, but then I realized that Kaori-san probably didn't have good memories of them. I'd
Oh,
heard the
so we're not going to ask what happened to her husband.
Oh my god! I'd heard that examining these crests helped understand the lineages and the like, but I had no knowledge necessary for
他の
this.
長者にも家紋があるのですか？
ええ、私は野里のが好きよ。可愛くて。
You? From what I recall, the Nosato family was the crow, but did it have a bird on it or something? Uematsu was the spider, Nosato was the crow, Higuchi was the monkey, and Miguruma was the snake. They worshipped the mountain and these guardians. It was significant not only for Fujiyoshi's culture, but the feast of the Yomi Purge as well. If memory served, Chiemi had told me last time that whether you had a guardian or not was relayed by a mark of blood on your skin. Waking up to find blood on your body was something straight out of a horror movie.
Okay.
Didn't the wolves in Haruchan say it was done through dreams? If that was true, I'd be at a loss. It'd be an actual supernatural phenomenon. Still, were wolves and humans informed differently? This is something I'd have to look into starting tomorrow.
他の家紋ってどこかにあります？
野里屋敷なら野里のはあると思うけど、他のは上松さんの胸につけてるお
I
飾
sure
り
can't
は
wait until I walk up to Nikako and say, hey, can I look at your chest and have Tai like explode out of her robes screaming? That thing, huh? I had thought it was kind of weird looking.
今度探してみます。知らずに粗
I'll
末
try
に
looking
扱う
for
と
them.
大変なことになりそうだ。
He's talking. I don't need to read.
それはそうかもしれないわね。何か見つけたら教えましょうね。
ええ、どうも。
I continued working as we talked. Meanwhile, Takumi is like just outside, like, don't you fucking dare go near Kaori-san. There was a small, ancient TV here. Apparently you can get public broadcasting here, but not much else. There was probably enough for everyone to gather here and have dinner while watching something. I was told that all the dorm rooms had TVs too. That had to be another way they pampered the children who'd eventually leave this place. It strongly demonstrated how much of an exception the dorm was for
うちの
Yasumizu.
長男が今寮にいて、昨日のドラマがどうだったとか教えてくれるんですよ。ここじゃ夜しかつけないから。
Normally, giving TVs to the younger generation would be a sign of luxury, but it was the other way around here. The children went to the school in Kamifujiyoshi, but they never went anywhere beyond that, and just went straight home, and Kamifujiyoshi was secluded to begin with. That was why they prioritized giving TVs to the children, to let them know what was happening outside the village, and to help them learn modern Japanese culture. Apparently, they also covered their electricity and gas bills. They had to be frugal, but they didn't mind supporting the children's access to TV. Chiemi was the first Yasumizu child to make it to college, and Yasunaga-kun was expected to follow her footsteps. Basically, they thought if they supported the young ones and helped them become prominent figures in society, the money they'd send back would make life easier for those who stayed
長
here.
男、安永にはこんな場所に縛られず自由に活躍してほしいって私としては思ってるんだけどね。ご覧の通り次男は不出来なので
Some
目の
flaws,
届
huh?
くところ
I
に
hadn't
置かな
noticed.
きゃ。
He seems
で
so
も長男は
grounded and just
手前味噌だけど
Nice.
優秀で、死んだ夫も頭は良かったわ。でも 気性も激しい人だった。頭と気性
Oh my god. Oh my god, are we gonna
息子は
get...
それぞれ
Are
分
we
けて継いでしまった。
finally, after hours...
申し訳ないと思ってるのだけどね。どっちも賢く
One of
産
them's
ん
an
でやれ
idiot.
なかったって。
look. One out of
次男
two
は
isn't
難
bad.
産で私もあの子も死にかけたくらいだった
Oh
か
damn.
ら、その時にかけすぎた苦労があの子
No,
を
he
荒
didn't.
らしたのかしら。
No.
It's
that
not
is-
your fault. You
that's
have no
not-
control over that.
That's not how this works. Kaori-san was pretty talkative about this. I knew I was a stranger and she had to introduce Yasumizu to me, but this was a bit too much if you ask me. That's probably a sign of just how helpless she felt right now.
Yeah.
Maybe Takumi-san should just propose to her and lighten the Oribe's burden. Yeah! I mean, yeah!
Come on, Takumi.
Marrying a widow with sons in middle to high school was difficult, and I could only assume that that was his main issue. Feeling a bit conflicted, I glanced at the cheap alarm clock on the TV. It was 3 p.m. Any minute
ただい
now.
ま。あれ、
見知らぬやつ。
Thanks, Mochi. There. The high schoolers were back.
おかえりあなたたち。こちら急遽安水に移り住むことになった久石さんよ。
よろしくね。珍しいですね。織部安永です。ここの息子さんだよね。話は金がね。母さん何言ったのさ。
不詳の息子をよろしくって。
Damn!
Look at her face,
まっ
though.
たく。
I know.
Cute.
あ、こっちが鴨志田近持で、こっちが牧島春です。
モッチーだ。ギブミー命。
Okay.
Nope.
Nope.
ねえモッチー。何あれ。イケメンってやつ。怖い。
He is not an ikemen.
多分休んの方がつらと少年はいいよ。
Damn.
Yes. It's true, though.
Yeah,
兄
it's
ちゃん
true.
なら勝てる？勝てる勝てる。
貴様に勝負を申し込む。
Oh, god damn it.
待てい。僕が相手だ。
よし、おしっこ我慢対決スタート。
What is happening here?
貴様。僕が絶賛我慢中だと見通していたとでも言うのか。
Oh, his little face.
実は僕もそろそろ限界だったんだ。
先に漏らした方が勝ちにしよう。
乗った。いや乗らない。
早く行きなさいよ、二人とも。
あらら。
We both had to forfeit. Oh, okay. That was
久石さん、
pointless. Thank
モ
you.
ッチーと気が合いますね。
シッコマンの絆だな。
Ah, we've upgraded from Toilet Man.
Well, I mean, is this really an upgrade? This is more like a lateral move.
Okay, that's
そ
fair.
うだな。いや違う。
Yeah, wait, no.
改め
We
て、
know.
こっちははるちゃんです。
よろしくお願いします。
よろしく。なかなか独創的なファッションだね。
悪いですか？去年の暮れに勝原の100円ショップで揃えたんだけど。
That was just sad. It was something I'd expect from an elementary schooler. Leave the girl alone.
いや、いいと思うよ。これから仲良くやっていこ
兄ちゃん、ナンパされた。怖い。
う。違うと思うな。
I'm glad Yasunaga, has sense.
Yeah, same.
Man, Haruchan was distrustful of me even without the misunderstandings regarding Chiemi and I. Perhaps there really were people you just couldn't get along with. How sad.
あ、こんなに治ったんですね、食器。本来は僕らがやるようなことを。すみません。いやいや、楽しかったし、それにまだたっぷり残ってるしね。
安永、そんなことはいいから、早く予習復習をやりなさいな。
ああ、そうだね。寮に戻るよ。
勝負はまただ、シッコマン。
Piss man.
Piss man.
失礼します。
The high schoolers left.
これでだいたい安水の全員に会われたのかしら。
そうですね。
There was one exception, though. The old man.
すみません、生返事で。1、2、3、記者さん入れて14人とあったかな。
1人、2人。あら、久石さんを入れないなら15人いるはずね。
Suddenly, as if rehearsed, the final person appeared. Yeah!
There he is!
Yeah, there he is!
It's our boy!
ちょうどよかった。久石さん、こちら安水のおじいさんよ。
No one knew his name, did they?
こんにちは。
His one tooth.
I know.
Yeah, he's so good.
It was hard to tell whether he was listening or
今
not.
度こっちに住むことになりました。どうかよろしくお願いします。
There he comes.
There was his shtick.
Here it
どうしました？
comes.
He beckoned me closer. I carefully brought my ear to his mouth. Old lady Tai just explodes out of his ear and just screams.
Oh no. Well, Rikako's nowhere to be seen, so it's fine.
Sway back.
狼が来るぞ。と、びっくりしたな。
I evaded the potential damage to my eardrums. I don't know. I love that face for some reason.
It's really good.
I had no idea what he was thinking, but he was grinning.
No. 腹減った。
ちょっと待ってくださいね。今おにぎりでもしますから。
This might have actually been the first time I saw him properly communicate with someone. Huh, that's true.
Yeah.
Once given the onigiri, he quickly munched it all up, leaving a big mess, and just staggered out. According to Kaori-san, he'd always been a part of the whole Yasumizu package. He seemed to have something wrong with his head and tended to cause trouble here. Always a part, huh? Would it be wrong to assume he'd experienced something that made him go insane? At the very least, his catchphrase about wolves coming gave me that impression. I just had a thought, which I don't think it's true. I don't think that's the problem. I don't think that's what's going to happen. But if it is what happens, I would lose my shit.
Okay.
What if the old man is Haruaki?
Oh my god.
Like he's
That
been
really
in
good.
this loop for so long or whatever, or something somehow, and he has just become this old man obsessed with wolves. I don't think that's going to happen, but I want that to be what happens.
I also want that to be what happens.
Okay, at the very least, his catchphrase about wolves coming gave me that impression. He'd experienced the feast once, and the fear made the boy who cried wolf became the old man who cried wolf. Perhaps he'd even seen that thing. I'd love to hear what he had to say, but that seemed difficult.
これで全員かしら。
みたい
You
で
tell
すね。
me. I was glad to have heard so much from Kaori-san, but I would have liked to talk to the young ones more. Hey, how about you talk to Kaori-san about her dead husband?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Was it possible for me to forge a proper relationship with her starting tomorrow?
18時まで休憩にしましょう。房石さんのおかげですごく早く片付いちゃった。助かるわ。
いえいえ。
After helping with the dinner preparation, I was mostly done for the day, so I was free to take a breather. It was almost 5 p.m. I hadn't been keeping track of time on the previous loop, but the mist had to appear soon. Needless to say, I was slightly tense. Not having anything better to do, I went outside. I looked up at the sky. The evening sun bathed everything in a red hue. This was probably the last time I'd see the mountain in the distance. No, this time I would survive until the mist cleared. Then I would look at this with the one dear to me and leave this place for good. As I gathered my resolve. Ate the donut baloney, rice snows on the mountain. Okay.
Aw, yeah.
I suddenly heard an off-key singing voice. It completely deflated the tension of the scene.
Oh.
I could see Mako running through the plaza. She'd clearly noticed me. Uematsu-san was right behind her.
Busayuki-san!
That wasn't my name.
Haruaki だよ。
房石さん、お疲れ様です。
まだまだ元気ですよ。
頼もしいです。夕飯前に少し下の原っぱを見に行こうかと。
Oh, just like last time, huh?
Yeah.
I've been busy fixing my bike here, so I hadn't even noticed them go down.
下に原っぱがあるんですか。
Uh-oh. She's very close.
I know.
はい。本当を言えば墓地なんですが。
お墓ですか。何があるんです？ああ、そういえば植松さんの服装は仏教のものにちょっと似ていますね。もしかして供養もされてるとか。
はい。植松は葬儀の家でもありましたから、葬式仏教も混じっているかも。
So Mamiya-san was right. Bedroom woman servants, was it? Perhaps they protected not only dreams, but also eternal sleep, the peace of the dead.
血筋が細くなって実務が行えなくなった後は身車様にお任せしていますけれど。
Huh.
それでも休みずに住むようになってからはその墓の供養はしている？
自分ではそのつもりです。ただ今は
何です？
ちょっと気になって。
She looked toward the direction of Satanaga again. Whoa. Perhaps she could... Oh, shit. Hold on. No, auto off. There we go. I tried using the auto because her weird pauses make it hard for me to forward.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't think it was going to go that fast. I heard that sensitive people could sense incoming weather changes by differences in pressure and humidity alone.
何か起きるんです？
いえ、 気のせいだと思います。
When Matsu-san leaned on the pillar supporting the well's roof, apparently she decided against going to the field. Realizing this, Mako started playing around.
子供は元気ですね。
I'm waiting for the misunderstanding. It's gotta happen.
Mm-hmm.
She's right
Yep.
there. She's so close.
Yeah, he's talking about kids now, so
I know. It's gotta happen.
はい、
prime fodder for
サラ
misunderstanding.
長から迷い込んだということで、皆怖がっていましたが、明るい子でよかったです。
Not gonna lie, I am truly fascinated to find out what Mako's whole deal is.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I'm like, okay, so she's definitely a key player in this. I can't for the life of me figure out what yet.
Yeah.
どんな事情があったのでしょうね。
どこかの山で無理心中か何かを逃れてきたのかもしれませんね。
What? Doing her hardest to run away from a forced suicide in the mountains? That seemed likely. Takumi-san had mentioned last time that lots of suicidal people gathered
し
here.
かし、どうして上
I was about to ask why she was the one to take care of her, but then I remembered something. She took in the corruption. That was one of the roles she was expected to fulfill. It felt wrong to me, but I didn't know what I actually had a problem with. Mako's parents? The locals who treated her like filth? Or perhaps the customs and superstitions that caused it? One whole birthday cow to find.
斬新な歌ですね。上富士吉でも放送で聞いたな。
I'd actually heard it here in the last loop, but whatever.
我らを生かす
I mean, he did hear it in Kami Fujiyoshi.
Yeah.
新内
Melody, anyway.
新内明神様の教えを歌った古い歌です。新内さんのお守りはひかがちふましらみからすよくも
She's got a nice singing voice.
Yeah.
She began singing out of nowhere.
夕霧立てば宴の支度いついつむちなもなれもて走る
The badger runs along late with Nade as a fix.
We didn't have a badger at all.
Yeah, I know. Her clear voice vanished into the wind passing this empty plaza. Yeah, that's bothering me, because I mean, there's the four guardians, the wolf, and that, you know, everything in that song has some relevance to what's going on. There's been no badger. Like, what role does a badger play? Unless we're the badger. Haruaki's the badger. Her clear voice vanished into the wind passing this empty plaza. However, I could hear it very well. The tone of the song suddenly changed. Now, I don't know a lot about music, so anyone who's listening to this or watching this, if you could tell me in some type of comment or whatever, it seems like when she was singing there, that 7 and 8, I think she shifted into a minor key, but I can't tell. Like, I don't know for sure. It definitely sounded like she shifted into minor. Her singing now brought out feelings of unease. Now we're back on major. Whoa!
Hello?
Chiemi, you appear to be covered in jam. What happened? Was there a jam party?
Was there a jam party and we missed it?
We missed it because we were fixing old cups? An ice-cold voice cut her off. I looked at the source, and a chill went down my spine. It was Chiemi, covered in the red of the evening.
But not blood. Oh, okay.
As well as the red of blood. Her whole body was covered in blood. Yeah, with all of the jam. Huh?
芹沢さん、それどうしたの？
ああ、こりゃ失礼しました。いきなりだったらビビるよね、そりゃ。
She gave me a broad grin.
獅子の解体をされてたのかと。
Oh.
当たりです。朝に肝臓じいちゃんが仕留めたのが大物でね。筋やら骨やらごっついのなんの。
I don't like how they're not specifying the animal. Kanzo-chan got a big one this morning, and the muscles and bones on this thing were huge. Who does that sound like to you?
I mean, Takumi, but he's not dead yet.
The photographer.
Okay.
We'll see if he pops up. If he doesn't pop up, then... Oh yeah, Takumi-san had told her to help Kanzo-san.
すごいですね。芹沢さん、解体なんかできるんですか？
まあ慣れですよ、慣れ。
っていうか、その普段着が血まみれでいいんですか？
引っかぶる気はなかったんだけど、ちょっと手が滑っちゃって。まあ全く同じ着替え持ってきてるからいいんですけど。
I have another identical set of these clothes,
Yep.
so it isn't a problem.
She laughed and it made her look even scarier.
というか、ちえみでいいですよ。敬語とかもいらないです。
Here she is.
I love Rikako so much.
今のリカコさん？いえ。
No. It clearly was.
じゃあちえみちゃん、僕のことも春秋と呼んでよ。話し方もタメ語で結構。
あ、本当ですか？じゃあ春秋さん、ご飯の時にでも身の上話とか聞きたいな。
ちなみに、もしかして今晩は
I guess
獅
they're
子
just
肉の
gonna
ご紹
ignore
介に
her.
預かれるのかな？
Yep.
もちろん、今日はごちそうだ。
やったぜ。楽しみですね、植松さん。
What?
リカコとお呼びください。
Oh no.
リカコさん？
What kind of response was that?
なんでしょう。
She's trying so hard.
Yes, she is.
あるはら。
Aruhara.
春秋様。
She was about to call me by some weird name, but she somehow managed to actually get my real one right. Problem being that she called out to me, but didn't actually have anything to say. Oh boy. Oh? And what's your problem, Chiemi-san?
春秋さん、よかったら獅子の解体見学しに来ない？でっかい狩猟ナイフでブッシュ
Hey, Splosh Splosh is back.
Yeah! Okay, also, what did Hillary say? Okay, pretty sure that the song she was singing shifted into one of the traditional Japanese pentatonic scales. Okay, so it wasn't a major or minor shift? Whoa, that kind of imitation would have weirded out anyone normal, but would have weirded anyone out. Weirded out anyone normal, but me, I was actually intrigued.
Because I'm a real fucking weirdo.
Real fucking weirdo. Okay, so it was a major minor shift, but there's a lot more in terms of... Okay, interesting. That's cool.
Haruaki-sama.
Did she have something to say this time, or is she just saying my name over and over again?
はい。
あちらへ行きませんか?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
どちらへ?
墓場へ.
Oh, do I have a choice? An invitation even freakier than the previous one. It felt like she'd take me straight to the land of the dead, though that was interesting in its own way.
Oh my god, Shiemi's face.
あんな原っぱで何するつもりですか? 芹沢様こそ血の宴などけったいな。いくら安水の務めとはいえ、血は汚れにつながるのです。
Are they fighting over me?
Oh my god. Ladies, he's not worth it.
He's not. Guys, come on.
リカ子さんこそエッチいことはバッチいことですよ。何をご想像されてるの？別に私はそのようなことは。そんなこと言ってリカ子さん結構むっつりっぽいからな。
I like how Chiemi isn't actually fighting over me and is just giving Rikako shit.
Yeah.
そんな。大丈夫。男子はみんなエッチなお姉さんが大好きだから。
What?
What?
What is
で
happening
も残
here?
念。エロパワーでもちえみさんはリカ子さんを超えるから。そんな。
Where's Tai? Where's Tai? Give you the old woman.
She just bursts out of the ground. Ah!
君ら何言ってるんですか?
さゆきさん、待って待って。
No.
No.
なんだって?
ねえこ、一体何を。あ、リカ子さん脱落？じゃあちえみもらっちゃおっかな。
そんなうまい話が。
She's gonna kill you, dude.
割と好みですよ。
It's fine.
春秋さんがこっち住むなら里帰りする楽しみができたかな。
So I had a chance with Chiemi in this route too, huh?
あ、芹沢さんがいない間、チャンスだらけ。
He's not worth it.
If only the main character had any redeeming qualities and wasn't actually all over the map, I'd say this could be an interesting, like, you know, back and forth. But Haruaki is just... No, no.
なんと、それはまずい。
And with Rikako-san, too.
メイコちゃん、かけっこしようぜ。
Yeah, run away. I ran around with her like I was a kid her own age again. As much as I enjoyed them having a cat fight over me, for a second it seemed like he really didn't want that, and I would have actually had a little bit more respect for the guy.
You know he was into it.
I knew that we were almost out of time. The dense mist began flowing into the plaza.
嘘だろ。
My tone was a bit forced, but no one paid any heed.
みんな、霧が出た。
Jimmy's loud voice flung everyone into a frenzied panic.
ばあちゃんは家に入った。おやっさんは年寄り扱いしてんじゃねえ。
No, the other
There
old
he
guy.
is.
Oh, that's a new sprite.
Yeah.
ちい、ガキどもを連れて寮行け。
春秋さん、案内は。わかった、頼みます。春秋さん、これが安水の霧。バカバカしいかもしれないけど、絶対に手順は守って。
ああ。
へえ、これが噂のノーム。本当に出会えるとはラッキーかも。
Girl, no.
Oh, okay, there he is.
それどころじゃないんです。部屋があってよかったわ。すぐにそちらへ逃げてください。
間宮さん、こっちだから。カメラマンさんは。
俺が行く。プレハブだろ。おっさん来い。転ぶなよ。
そんな焦らなくても。
No, you need to rush.
You need to rush.
I couldn't help but worry.
来る。狼が来る。
At the the edge of my fading vision, I saw the old man mutter that and walk off.
メイコ、春明様、嫌な予感が当たったようです。
霧が出たら家に閉じこもるんでしたっけ？
みそぎ、物意味、夢枕、宴の支度、必ず3つお守りください。
体拭いて、鍵かけて、寝る？
そう。ご飯は明日まで待ってね。
うん、わかった。
掟を守れば、今日は誰も死なない。
Who's not going to obey?
どういうことですか？
今日は宴の支度。明日からの宴に備えて支度せぬ者を神内明神は罰される。もう言ってください。
Rikako-san took Meiko in her hands and took a step back. That alone made her face less clear.
必ず支度をして。明日また会いたいから。
必ず守ります。
I shouted that right before her face vanished. She clearly liked me. So much that she was almost crying. She probably assumed I wouldn't believe her and thought I'd be a pile of gore tomorrow. Not a chance. I knew how serious this was and understood the depths of their fear and despair. And on top of it all, I wanted to help them. I wanted to reassure them by making that all too clear. I made my way carefully downhill to my hut. Unlock, enter, lock. Oh man, I felt so much safer than last time. After all, I could actually lock up, had a decently sized space that was protected from the mist, and had a nice place to lie down. I'd made it this far. That alone was a strong sign that I was doing way better than before. I turned on the light. I actually had electricity here. Well, I'd had it in the dorm last time too, but that was really cut was the telephone wires to the dining hall. All that was really cut was okay. Weird to think that mist and severed phone wires were enough to create a closed circle like this one. Even weirder that I actually came back here of my own volition. I don't think you had a choice.
You literally had no choice, buddy.
I reached into the bag at the corner of the room and opened the yellow box of food. It was probably unfair to everyone else, but I needed the energy. I'd have a hell of a time tomorrow.
What happened to the giant bowl of human flesh that you ate?
He had that around lunch, I think. After my half-assed excuse for dinner, I took the wet towel from the pail and washed my body. I then checked if the door was really locked. All that was left was to spread out on the futon and sleep. Could I, though? After all, I had so many things on my mind. And then I fell asleep. First, the things I'd learned today. I found out that I could change how things went down. This time, I somehow succeeded in becoming an inhabitant here and saved the journalists. I had no idea if this would make things better than last time, but it was clear things were different. That alone was big. Had to be. Also, I had a feeling there was at least one Yasumizu inhabitant who'd experienced a feast before. This wasn't that new, but now I felt like the elders weren't the only suspects. Takuri-san could have experienced one too. Tomorrow, I could probably ask if there was a mist before, and I could actually make it sound natural. The settlement's history was just as deserving of an investigation as its customs and superstitions. And Rikako Uematsu. She might have actually been way weirder than I first thought.
She's wonderful. You shut up, Haruaki.
She fell often and went nuts when you just called her by her name. Despite her weirdness, though, there was a certain charm to her. She was kind of like a fancy-looking restaurant that you were afraid to go into, but when you mustered the courage, it turned out to be unexpectedly cheap, and sold simple yet nice flavors, making you really attached to it.
Jesus.
Comparing a person to a restaurant is really weird.
And then using that description, unexpectedly cheap.
Yeah.
And simple yet nice flavors.
Yeah. I mean, maybe your analogy, your metaphor needs a little work there, Haruaki.
Your metaphor needs a lot of work. I think you need to scrap it and start over.
Just start over. But, objectively speaking, it felt like she was actually attracted to me. But why? Is what we would all like to know.
To be fair, she is incredibly sheltered, and he is the first man around her age that she has probably ever met.
Probably.
So...
I think she's supposed to be older
than
Haruaki, too. I think she's, like, a couple of years older.
Yeah, well, I mean, that doesn't really make a whole lot of difference.
No, I know.
She's in her 20s. Yeah.
Did our first
Well, yeah, she needs better taste, but, like, she has no baseline for comparison.
Zero baseline.
Yeah.
Although we did say that we suspect her room to just be filled floor to ceiling with shoujo manga.
Yes.
Not that I minded the attention, but this seemed a bit too good to be true. Whatever the case, I'd formed a bond that I certainly didn't expect last time. Assuming I solved this whole mystery, what would I do next? You know, I mean, it makes more sense to me that Rikako potentially likes him, only because she seems to be the only person who kind of wants to know anything more about him. Like, first of all, she was the AI Rikako, like in the tutorial, right? So she clearly has a bigger role to play in the story. But let's not forget when we first showed up at the dorms in the first loop, he walked outside and she was there staring at him.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering, like, we've already established that some memories between loops can be retained. I mean, Chiemi clearly has some type of knowledge of Haruaki.
Yeah, she's doing some weird looping herself.
Yeah, who's to say that Rikako is not doing the same thing?
Mm-hmm.
So, assuming I solve this whole mystery, what would I do next? Following through on my line, actually living here would upset too many parties, so that was a no, and if I left here someday, what would become of my relationships? You know, the ones that I know, the people I know for one day.
Yeah.
Rikako-san didn't look like she'd ever leave this place. What about Chiemi? Why was I counting my chickens before they hatched anyway? Thank you! I did appreciate that Chiemi actually liked me this time, too. I wasn't much help to her last loop, so I was kind of fixated on saving her on this one. But there was another way to look at this. That was a feeling bored of a trip through hell with her last time, standing by her until the end. But the Chiemi from back then wasn't the same as the Chiemi from this loop. Any feelings I had for the previous Chiemi had nothing to do with this one. There was nothing more hollow than chasing after unrequited feelings, right? I'd had enough of... I know, right? I'd had enough of thinking about that. It just made me feel empty inside.
You knew her for 3 days, buddy.
Time to review more important things, thank you. Like the previous roles. Takamimoto was the snake, Chikamochi, Kamoshida, and Meiko were the monkeys. Yasunaga Oribe and Tai Yamawaki were the wolves. Those were the only clear ones. Now for the rest. Since the spider was supposed to protect the snake, Takumi-san, who died on the second day, it was safe to assume it was someone who died on the first. That was either Kanzo Makishima or Yoshitsugu Oribe, and I was pretty sure it was the former. I had no guesses for the crow, though. That guardian didn't really get a turn in the spotlight last time. There was only one standard lynching, after all. In fact, there were far more abnormal deaths. Though, I had no idea if those were or were not covered by the crow's power, to tell if the lynch victim was a wolf or not. If they were, then perhaps the crow was waiting for the chance to come out, but all who died were humans, and eventually they were out of the game. Or maybe it was someone who couldn't make good use of the power at all. Assuming Kanzo-san was the spider, then I had 7 suspects for the crow. Yoshitsugu Oribe, Harumaki Shima, Chiemi Sarizawa, Rikaku Uematsu, Kiyonosuke Nosato, Kaori Oribe, and the old wolf guy. First, Yoshitsugu-kun. Honestly, I felt like he'd reveal himself as an owner of a guardian way before Takumi-san would. He was reckless and impulsive, after all. Kiyonosuke-shi seemed like the type to proudly reveal that he had the crow. It was his family's guardian beast, after all. Or maybe he was using it to gather information on his own, so he could pull out a bunch of his own deductions all at once. No, he wasn't that stupid, surely. Also, he was given free rein until the wolves got to him on the final day. He'd had ample time to do something. Then, Harumaki Shima. She'd betrayed the humans and sided with the wolves, despite the fact it wouldn't save her life. Needless to say, that seemed insane. The Great Lord Shinai came to her in a dream and told her the truth? What the hell? Who'd die for that? Was there some other way to create such madness? A method to create a murderer? Was there anything beside what Yasunaga could mention? I had no idea, but if there was, I really didn't think anyone with a guardian would fall victim to it. If Chiemi was the crow, I would hope she'd have confided in me about it. Kaori Oribe, I had no idea. She'd been the only one killed the conventional way last time, but was never really given the chance to speak up. Even if she was, it's possible she'd chosen to keep silent and focus on killing everyone for her son, or she'd tried to become a shield for him. The old wolf guy made no sense at all. If he'd gotten a guardian, it likely would have just gone to waste. Finally, Rikako-san. I had no idea what to expect from her. She was the only descendant of the Uematsu family and their current head, so perhaps she knew some secrets known only to the head families. However, from what I'd observed of her today, it really did seem like she just had a bad feeling and come to check. I didn't know how intelligent she was either. She did seem to have good intuition, but she was also a bit of a klutz.
What does that have to do with intelligence, buddy?
Yeah. There was also the fact she'd been eliminated from the previous game due to some strange corruption. Maybe she didn't have a chance to reveal that she possessed a guardian. That meant that the most likely candidates for the crow were Rikako-san, Kaori-san, and the old wolf guy. What was most important here, though, was if those with guardians would be the exact same as last time. If they were, I'd have this feast in the bag.
Yeah, there's no way they're the same.
There's no way. If, to use an extreme example, I went and silently took out Yasunaga-kun and Tai-san, I'd probably fall victim to the corruption, but the human side would win. Of course, the participants were different this time, so it wasn't guaranteed that we'd get the same guardians. But, if Great Lord Shinai or whatever picked them, or whatever picked them had some sort of qualifications for his chosen, the addition of outsiders would change nothing. On the other hand, if our participation could change the guardian assignments, was it random, or was there some kind of pattern? Whichever it was, it would mean that there was no higher will intent on giving guardians to specific people. Whatever the case, it would help getting closer to the truth behind the feast. If I found out that the rules behind the guardian distribution, I could probably win without trying to read people's minds. The only problem was my whole looping thing. Nobody would believe me if I told them. I couldn't blame them if I went and said, this is how it was last time, so you're the wolf this time. Everyone would think I was nuts. I had to look at this as something but a source of extra info to use to my advantage. And of course, I couldn't sleep. Oh, I hate those nights.
Mm-hmm.
What would happen to me if I spent the whole night awake? Was someone watching me? Did they know I wasn't sleeping? Would they come to kill me? That line of thinking made me feel like I was being watched. What about the locals? They already had the mists and the feast to fear. Could they sleep soundly? I knew the old stories said they should be able to, but...
Nii-chan, Haru mo shiawase ni shite.
This creeped the hell out of me. This was weird.
Yeah.
There was something wrong with the people of Yasumizu. They were normal in regular circumstances, no total idiots anywhere, and not all of them seemed like the sort to lose themselves in superstitious ramblings. However, certain situations seemed to act as a trigger, turning them completely irrational. The absolute extreme fear of the mist. The complete submission to the real story. The lack of aversion toward hanging people. Was that all part of the feast? If so, what kind of psychological systems were at work here? I couldn't understand. Things I couldn't understand scared me. Was there a limit to the extent I couldn't comprehend? Wait, things I don't understand scare me. You don't understand how you've been looping for God knows how long, and you're just kind of taking that in stride. See, this is the shit that I mean, that his character is all over the map.
Yeah.
What if it was just a huge, never-ending downward spiral of irrationality?
That's possible.
If that was the case, it'd be pretty damn scary.